Hello everyone, my name is Red, welcome to my second Schleich review video. This time I've got 3 new horses to talk about, including this year's exclusives, so let's get into it. First up is the 2024 exclusive Selle Francais mare, and I have to say I think she's gorgeous. Her shading is really nice, especially considering Schleich don't usually bother to shade their chestnut horses these days. I also just really like this mold, especially her face. It's just a nice mold in general, I think. This is definitely my favourite of this year's exclusives, and I highly recommend her. Next we have the exclusive quarter horse gelding, and he is also a really nice model. I don't think I like him quite as much as the Selle Francais, but not because he's bad or anything. I just think he's a bit plain, I guess. He doesn't have much shading going on. I do really like the blue ribbons. I think they really match his body colour well. He also has a very faint white face marking. It's really hard to see, even in person, not just on camera, but it is there, and his little pink nose is adorable. Sadly, my camera doesn't really pick it up, but he has a little pink spot right at the end of his nose, and I really like that. Overall, I would recommend this model. I just personally think this year the mare is better. And finally, I also got the Tori and Princess set, so let's go through everything included. First off, we have the rider, Tori, then we have the horse, the saddle, the bridle, the saddle pad, which actually still has a piece of fabric where the gap should be. It just didn't get cut out properly, I guess. And finally, we have the riding hat. So let's talk about the horse. Now, I already own the other version of this model that came with set 42437, but that one has yellow ribbons, and as you can see, this one has white, and that is really the only difference of the two. I don't know why Schleich decided to make a completely new version when the other one is still actively in production anyway. It's an annoying decision for collectors like me because it means we have to buy 2 sets of practically the same thing just to get the other version of the horse. Like, if the horse was completely different, then sure, fair enough, but they only changed the colour of the ribbons, so it seems a bit pointless to me. They could have easily just used the other one they were already making instead for this set as well, but they haven't for some reason. Anyway, having said all that, I do actually really like this model. It's a really nice Frisian. I would of course prefer her without the braids and ribbons at all, but I do think that they actually suit this model, so I'm not that bothered by them. I do think that she could be better shaded though. She's very much just one solid colour all over and doesn't really have much detail going on. Now let's go over the set as a whole. I have to say I'm really impressed with the tack in this one. The amount of detail on the saddle is really good, like all the stitching and the straps, even the individual sections of the saddle are outlined. I was very impressed with it, honestly. The bridle is also nicely detailed as well. Again, you can see they've added a pattern to both the crown piece and the brow band. You can also see the straps for the cheek pieces and the noseband. I did notice that unlike other bridles from Schleich, you can't remove the reins on this one, as they are fully attached to the headstall. Overall, the tack is really impressive and it fits the horse really nicely too. Schleich have a history of releasing models with tack that doesn't fit them properly, so I'm glad that's not the case with this model. I also really like the yellow and black colour scheme. It really makes the saddle pad stand out. And then of course there's Tori herself, who I'm glad to say actually has a decent looking face. Sometimes the faces of Schleich's human models can look a bit wonky, or the paint doesn't line up quite right, but they seem to have made a good job on this one at least. Overall, I think it's a nice set and I would recommend it. So those are my thoughts on the 3 new horses I got. There was supposed to be a 3rd exclusive horse this year, but sadly Schleich have decided to cancel the release of the Andalusian, which sucks. It's the 5th time Schleich have cancelled an exclusive horse in the last 3 years. In 2022, they cancelled the Curly Horse Mare and the Quarter Horse Stallion for production line issues, whatever that means. Last year they cancelled the Morgan Mare, however, we never saw any official photos of that model. All we know is the mold and the model number. And then earlier this year, they cancelled the exclusive mare from the advent calendar. I have heard rumors that they plan to release her as an exclusive model next year instead, but who knows if they actually will. And now they've cancelled the Andalusian Stallion. I don't know why they don't just release them a year or 2 later than planned instead of scrapping them completely and designing new ones for the following years, but anyway, the 2 they did release are really nice and I'm very glad to have them. I've given them the names Auburn and Kaito, and the Frisian mare I've named Delilah. Thank you so much for watching and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye!